So I came out here this morning to walk and to talk about my dad. Some things I just wanted to say. Just thank him. Taking care of me. Not only as a child, but as a grown man. I guess I just makes me realize we can be grown men and our parents still can be helping us with stuff. Like, I'll never forget how he helped me get my car fixed. When that guy told me it was gonna be $400, he might as well said $1 million. But my dad came through, came and picked me up from the car place, took me to work, and then gave me the money so when the car was ready, I could have the car. I'll never forget that. And I'll never forget how he helped me through the drill tower by getting me an apartment. All that apartment had in it was a bed and a desk. He said I didn't need nothing else. And by doing that, I was really able to study, you know, no distractions. Every morning he made me breakfast. He packed me a lunch. And when I came home from the drill tower, he had dinner ready for me. And then he took my uniform and had it pressed or whatever. He would iron it, that's what. And then he would take my shoes and go get them shined, like every other day. To the point where when we had lineup in the morning, they were always talking about how well my shoes looked. He was there for me. I probably could have made it out of the tower, but having my father there made it a lot easier. A lot easier. Thank you, Dad, for doing that for me. Makes me wonder, what can I or have I done to help my sons in that way? You know? That would be something to hear. One thing I think about, you gotta wanna do something for somebody to wanna help you. As I get older, I can slowly feel these health challenges coming up on me, which means gotta eat better every day and get good exercise in. every day. So, another story I have about my dad. I remember we were taking a trip to Alabama, and the car floorboard started heating up, and the car started sputtering like it couldn't breathe. So we were climbing a hill. Car almost came to a stop. My father got over to the right, pulled over, looked under the car. It was red hot. He told all of us to jump out the car. We jumped out. Then my dad took a flashlight. He took a flashlight and he damn near stood in the middle of the highway, waving that flashlight, trying to get somebody to pull over. Finally, a truck did pull over, and Dad ran up to the truck, told him what's up. The trucker used the CB radio to call the tow truck. Tow truck came and got us and took us to a mechanic shop. This is the middle of the night. And we ended up sleeping in the car till that morning, till the mechanic showed up. And sure enough, the catalytic converter was damaged and blocked with soot. So he said, hey, he can cut it off, weld a new pipe on, but you wouldn't be able to get that car smogged in California no more. And that's what we did. But I just remember how brave my dad was to get out there in that highway and to almost get hit by them trucks, but to wave that flashlight until somebody stopped to help us. Thank you, Dad, for doing that. Sometimes I wonder, would I have the courage to do that? I guess you don't know what you do when your children's lives are at stake, their safety. I remember another time hanging out with my dad. This one was kind of funny. We were just rolling around that night. He took me to several clubs. And then we stopped to get some gas. And back in that day, you had to walk up to the window to pay for your gas, tell them what number pump you want. Well, my dad did that. And as he was walking back to the car to put, he was putting his money, he was putting his money back in his wallet, and he was putting his money back in his wallet, and this person who we thought was a guy was a lady. Was a lady. And the lady snatched my dad's wallet. And I remember my dad grabbing that lady by the head and swinging her left to right. And then she started yelling, hey, you got me, you got me. And from her voice, we knew it was a lady. And then Dad was like, yeah, well, that's what you get, trying to take people's money. Now go and get the hell out of here. Go and get the hell out of here. And we got back in the car. I remember feeling so brave, like I did something. Oh, Dad was brave too, but my father was a giver and a helper. He's helped a lot of people. I just remember being little, going on paint jobs with him. He was always a hard worker. He was not a lazy man. I remember when I bought my house, not only did he help me move, but he painted my patio after it got built. He painted it white. He, Ronnie, and myself painted, but my dad did the bulk of the work. He's been out to my house several times. And yeah, those are some stories I remember. Probably the funniest story I remember was my dad was driving. It was 1972. He was 43. Yolanda was in the front passenger seat. She was 15. I was in the back seat, 10. Lynn was behind my dad in the back seat. She was 8. And we went to a car wash. And after the car was washed, we got in the car, and I remember Dad was coming out the driveway, and I think then he started to turn left or right, I can't remember, but I remember he turned his head and went and spit on the window. And this loogie of spit hit the window. It started coming down like a cave, and he said, "Oh my God, y'all give me something to wipe this up." And Yolanda had a bag of Doritos, and she crushed them all up. Then she dumped them all in her mouth. And then she gave my dad the bag. I didn't think he was going to use the bag, but he attempted to use that bag, and it just smeared the saliva even more on the window. And we started laughing as kids, and my dad used to always tell us about laughing, which he called snickling. Y'all quit all that snickling. I think we ended up going home and he ended up cleaning the glass. Those were some of the memories I had of my father.
Love and happiness.
You know,
Something that can make you do wrong.
I remember the marriage advice my dad gave me that I remember. Probably said more, but I remember I was about to get married and I asked him about marriage, and my father just said, "Boy, marriage a whole different ball game." That's all I remember.
Love and happiness.
So I think about what advice would I give my sons.
Something's going wrong.
They're thinking about or want to get married, or that day comes where they're getting married. It's a lot of stuff I can think about to say, but what I'm about to say will just encompass everything. And I think today, when I apply these principles to my own marriage, I think they work. So I would just say, be willing and don't be unwilling. Be unselfish and don't be selfish. We can apply that many examples. One example I guess I would use would be as far as like willing go, you know, maybe your wife wanna go a particular place, you ain't really interested in going. You don't see no fun in that trip at all. But be unselfish. I mean, yeah, be unselfish. Don't be selfish, want it your way. And be willing to go and not unwilling to go. Just be there. Let her enjoy herself. And just apply that to everything. I mean, even if, you know, there's a room that wants to be painted, you ain't really crazy about the color, man, you'll get used to it, trust me. Well, you can't see it till it, and then when it's done, you're like, oh shoot, yeah, I really like that. That's happened at least several times.
Try to make it easier for me.
Yep. So, getting older. A lot of relatives are passing away, my ancestors, becoming ancestors. Dad, that was a big one. Uncle John, Uncle Carl, those were the latest on Cousin Diane. So it just makes me think about my own mortality, you know, what I'm facing. So I'm gonna do my best to, first of all, keep my mind right. Because when you are living with other people, and they don't see things the way you do things the way you would like them to be done, that can be a challenge. But they family, hang in there, love them, be right there for them, you know? And then, big challenge I have in my life now is these grandkids. That's what scares me the most. How they gonna come up? And will I be here for them? I don't know the future. Nobody does. But we have today. So let's do something today that will possibly help you, aid you in the future. To be here and to do for those you love. I think the biggest thing I'm doing right now is just being patient, keeping my mouth closed, not doing a lot of talking. You know, and most importantly, man, I'm just trying to hear from God so that I can make good decisions. That's what I'm trying to do most.
Keep on walking tall.
What else do I remember about my dad? I remember when I was a kid, and he bought me a real Levi's jean jacket. I would rarely get name brand clothes, but I wanted that jacket. And I know that jacket set him back a little bit. And I went to school, I think I was 5th grade, and hung my jacket up in the coat room. Went to go get it, my coat was gone. it was another jean jacket in this place, I think at Lee's. So I took that jacket, took it home, at least so I could find the guy who was wearing my jacket. I don't think I put my name in it back then. But I remember coming home and saying, if my dad see this jacket, he gonna be like, where's the jacket I bought you? So I laid that jacket down on the side of the house. I didn't think nobody would see it, but my dad came home and he had that jacket in his hand and he said, is this how you gonna treat your clothes? I think he gave me a spanking for that. But that day I knew that my dad didn't know the difference between Levi and Lee's. I remember how my father was always respectful of white people. Being born in 1929 and being a full-grown adult during the age of segregation, he acted differently around white people, respectfully, you know. But some incidents I remember was once when we went down to Pine Hill, Alabama. He took me to see this old white lady who he used to work for. And I remember how he was almost down on like one knee talking to her. She was old, she was still sitting in her chair. And she was nice. She wasn't disrespectful or anything. But Dad was he was saying, ma'am, a lot to her. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And then I remember a time when he was painting for some rich white people, Mr. Hatfield, in Westwood near Bel Air, California. And he took me with him this time. And I think I was about maybe 11 years old at the time. And I was 11 years old, and instead of working like I was supposed to, I was playing with the little white boy who was almost my age, and he wanted to play. So his mom was letting us play with toys, put us in the pool while my dad was working. I was supposed to be there working. And then at one point, the lady was trying to give me all these clothes. And I really wasn't sure, really didn't want the clothes. I didn't think I needed the clothes. So I kept saying, no thank you, no thank you. And my dad pulled me to the side. He said, boy, whatever this white lady want to give you, you take it. So I went back over there. She started again. I said, thank you, took these clothes and stuff. I swear a pair of shorts she gave me though were girl shorts. Yeah, they were this pretty pink. Guys will probably wear them today though. But back then, I took them, but I never wore them shorts. I remember this one time, it was more than once, but this particular time, my dad had a 68 Cadillac he used to call Bill. It was light blue with a white top. And my best friend at the time, Jeffrey Voorhees, his mother's boyfriend, which was kind of funny, all this time he really thought this guy was his dad. That's important. That shows me how important fathers are in boys' lives, that Jeffrey never really knew his dad until older. He showed me a picture of him. But all this time he was under the influence that his mother's boyfriend was his father. And he drove a royal blue 76 like Cutlass Supreme with a white top. It was really nice. And that night, all four of us hung out together. My father, me, Jeffrey, and his mother's boyfriend. And we went on 2nd Ave. Back then, 2nd Ave was the street you would race on. And the funny thing was, that guy let Jeffrey drive his car while he was in the passenger seat, and my dad let me drive the Cadillac, of course, Dad in the passenger seat, and he let us race. Well, yeah, the Cadillac had a 478 in it, 472, 1968, 472, and I won. But me and Jeffrey never stopped talking about that night. Jeffrey's passed on now. He died in 2014. Now my dad is gone. Jeffrey's mom is still there. I don't know about the boyfriend, you know. What's up with him now? You know? So that was a good time. My father's been around, even though he and my mother, I remember being separated around 1974. But I remember my father just always living close by. So even though he wasn't in the house, I could always stop by his apartment and even stay there at times. Their relationship, albeit strange, but as I get older, I can, you know, see it. Today, people probably wouldn't tolerate stuff like that. But yet, in my own relationship, I believe I have. She has. And they lived apart, but at the same time lived together. Which, I mean, they did things together. And my mom even paid for the burial crypt for her and my father, even though they weren't together. I believe my mother is a hard lover. She don't show it a lot, you know, through affection, but through her actions, she shows it a great deal, But I remember my father just being around all the time. He was no stranger to me. I
also love my wife too. As soon as she does a lot of things. Anything I ask her to do, she'll do it for me. She'll help me out, do things for me. She's just a real sweetheart woman. She really is. I love her.
The righteous way to go.
How do you want people to remember you?
I want people to remember me as a good man. Love in my heart, and love people, and I love my people in spite of them. It's crazy about my people. Remember me when I leave this world and get in the hand of the Lord. I don't want to stand out there hollering and screaming and going on. I look at me and smile and say, that was beautiful.